to the abuse. This door is open to you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. God in us recognizes the God in you, God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? So nice to see all of you, and thank you all for keeping those masks up and over. We're doing our best to keep each other safe. It's what we do. We try to take care of each other in any way we can. And I will stay far, far away. And then I'll put it on when we all get together at the end. I just want to remind you after service, if you would like to hang out close to your friends and talk, you might want to be outside or in the doorway. Again, just another way to help us keep each other safe. So thank you all for coming. I'm Reverend Tracy and delighted to welcome you to this lovely community. We come every week just to remind ourselves that there is something greater wanting to happen through and as each and every one of us. And we're here to support each other in that, to listen to each other's stories, to build each other up, to hold each other's hands, metaphorically speaking right now, and in general, just to be love. You know, we're here to be love and to love, and that's what we do. So welcome. Playing with me on platform this morning, our practitioner of the day is the handsome Mr. Brad. There he is. Brad will do our opening invocation and also do a reading for us. Just a reminder that your practitioners are always available to support you in prayer. You can tap them on the shoulder after service for a quick private conversation. We have a prayer request box up front where you're welcome to put in a written request. And we also have a phone line where you can leave a confidential message. If you call the office, one of the options is a prayer request option. And if you leave that message, your practitioners will take your request into prayer for the week. You can also email the office. On the front of your program is the admin@claremontcsl.org, and that address will get your prayer request. Sorry, that's the wrong one. There's one called prayer@claremontcsl.org, and that goes directly to your practitioner. So lots of different ways that they are able to support you in whatever is going on in your life, whether you want a little support, you just need someone to know the truth for you, or you just want a little spiritual tune-up here and there to make sure that you are in balance spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's what we do. We also have music this morning, live music. Jeff, we miss you when you're gone. I'll just let you know. Jeff on the keyboards. And playing and singing for us, we have the Jacksons. So happy to have you here. And we are going to get started with a bit of meditation. So I'm going to get my bowl, which sometimes I remember to put back up here after service, but sometimes I don't. However, here it is. And here's what we do. You take a deep breath, you close your eyes, and you breathe in and let the sound of the bowl take you to a place within yourself where there is peace. For there is within each one of us a sanctuary of love, a divine spark, a knowing of the oneness that is true. And it is here that we remember that all is well and all is truly well.
We have a wonderful group here today, and it's a wonderful morning. The sun was so bright and shiny today when I got up, and I thought to myself, you know, there is one power and one presence in the universe, so pray with me now. The presence in the universe is always there, it never goes away, and it is with us, and we are going to learn more about that today. So I give thanks for everything we have. I give thanks for being able to meet here this morning with people of like kind, and I give thanks for all those who are away For those who may be affliction, we know that they have resolved whatever situation they have, and they will be back with us soon. And for those that are on the air, we wish you a wonderful, wonderful welcome, because you too, even though you are other places watching, you are with us also. So let's know this is with us now. Let's give thanks for our knowledge. Let's give thanks for all that we have. And let's say together, and so it is. Wow, good morning everybody. Very, very nice group this morning. I have a question. Just think about this now. What does a nosy pepper do?
Yo, all up in your business.
Your jalapeno business. Okay. So that's our little joke. And you did that really well. I want to thank you. Hey, I write all of his lines for him. You know, I have a little reading for you this morning. It's short, so listen quick. You know that life cannot withhold itself from you. All that life is and has is fully given for you to enjoy. The life of God is perfect and eternal. It is the essence of everything that is. Life is God's gift to you. It is always ready to manifest itself through you in its entire fullness. You are a self-choosing mind and a divinity which permeates everything. You are always in the midst of life, a life that lives eternally and lives through you now. Therefore, you need not be disturbed by the passage of time, the movement around you, nor the variant of experience through which you are and which you go. There is something within you that remains unmovable, that always speaks directly to you, saying, "Be still and know that I am God." And this is Ernest Holmes, and I'm Brad Weather. Thank you.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be here with all of you. And we're happy to be here to come together with all of you and to get to share some of our music with you again. And this first song that we're going to share with you is called Love Makes It Happen.
You see a vision of the world at peace and it's done. Love makes it happen. Armed with your faith and your unceasing love, you act. Love makes it happen. From where I stand, you are a tower of strength, an inspiration in the wilderness, a guiding light that helps me follow my heart and shows me where I can begin again. You battle hunger as you open our eyes and it's done. Love makes it happen. Teach, understand, and work together as one, and it's done. Love makes it happen. You see in others the power of love, and you combine it with your own. You share your gifts by helping others to see that we were meant to live as one. There is no doubt that we could use some more like you. As you reach out into the world and follow through, you see a vision of the world at peace, and it's done. Love makes it happen. Armed with your faith and your unceasing love, you act. Love makes it happen. Love makes it happen. Love makes it happen. Love makes it happen. Thank you.
You know, when you make the minister cry before she even has a chance to speak, all bets are off. Thank you. Perfect, 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 as always. An original? I can see the music on the music stand. It's handwritten. We are so blessed to have you. We are so glad that you come. Yes. Thank you. So we'll light our candle for our monthly theme, which is, oh my goodness. Because what we're talking about is that we, when we are delighted and curious about the world, understand that the goodness of life is ours to have, and that our having our own good takes nothing away from anyone else. For we are all shining the same light out into the world. It simply looks a little different because, let's face it, we're all a little different from each other, aren't we? And yet at our core, there is one spiritual light, and that is what we are in the world and who we are in the world. Now, I want you to admit it, that when you saw the title of today's talk, you actually sang it.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Right? You can't help yourself, right? You know, we had the passing of Betty White this last week, and Golden Girls, how many of you are Golden Girls fans? I mean, how could you not be if you grew up in this country anytime in the last however many years? But, you know, she's really a remarkable person, and when you learn a little bit about her, I just continue to be impressed. I mean, she's always made me laugh, but now she impresses me. The title came not just because of that, but because on the 405 freeway and also on the 605 freeway, there are huge billboards with her picture that all they say is, "Thank you for being our friend." And so today's focus on the goodness of life is really the goodness that we are, that we bring to life. That to be a friend is to act in love and kindness and compassion and joy in the world as our best self. And she's one of those people that when you ask those who worked with her about her, they will tell you that she was kind and generous, that she was that she was genuine, that what you saw was the real her, there wasn't any other her. And besides being beautiful and wicked smart, and she could sing, and she could produce and write, and she started out in the early days of television doing 5.5 hours a day live, reading her own commercials. No stepping away to take a break from the cameras, because in the early days of television, nothing was taped. And so I look at this young woman who, in a world that didn't really support women in the workplace, made her way in a brand new medium in such a way that 80 years later she was still part of that community. And it's amazing what happens for us when we live our passion, when we're true to ourselves, when we share our gifts with the world, the ways in which we can share open up before us. And that's what she did. I mean, who in their 80s goes and makes a Snickers commercial? I mean, I didn't. I mean, I'm not in my 80s yet, but, really, right? So I think that what also really struck me about her is that when you would ask her about her career, her response was consistent. Her response was always, it's still such a privilege to work in this business. Not, isn't it great? Aren't I great? Look at all the things I did. But it's still such a privilege to be here, to do this work. In other words, to appreciate the gifts of life, to be in a place of gratitude as a way of being in life. And that total package turns into someone who shine their light in the world in a way that lifts everyone up. And she was a great actress. She was also, of course, known for her comedy. And the thing she said about comedy is always about that perfect timing. It's about the rhythm of exchange between the two who are dialoguing, or between the speaker and the audience. And isn't that the metaphor for life? Don't we do well when we allow ourselves to be in that natural exchange, that natural rhythm, that easy flow back and forth? That sense of the heart being fully present to the one that we're with, or in her case, to the television audience. So this week, this Oh My Goodness is about that good that we all have. She exemplified, and we all have it. Charles Fillmore, who is a Unity minister, he compiled the metaphysical dictionary that we all use in New Thought. He said, let the God within you express itself through you in the world without. In other words, be a channel for that spiritual expression of life. And you know when you're doing that, right? Because that's when you feel your best. You're right on point. You're connected with who you're talking to. Or you're into the project and time disappears and you are just doing what you do, and it's a glorious thing. We all have that divine spark within us. We all have that sense of something greater than we are that we are a part of. And it's that feeling of love. It's that urge to share. It's that sense of generosity that we come with, and it's that ability to be present in any moment as a force for kindness, for peace, for joy. The truth of who we are, when we're not all tangled up in all the other stuff that goes on in our heads, or that goes on the news, or that goes on in our families. Anybody still recovering from family visits at Christmas time? Just checking in, But it is our nature to connect, and to connect from a place of love. But this nature of life isn't just humans. There's research that was done with African gray parrots. Now, parrots are very intelligent animals, yes? And these parrots were trained to buy food with tokens. Okay, so they'd take one of the tokens out of their little stack and put it someplace, and they would get food. And this works for them. And then what they did is they paired the parrots up 2 at a time, and they gave one of the birds 10 tokens and the other bird no tokens. Now, without reward, without training, the parrot with the tokens would give a token to the other bird so that everybody could eat. This type of living is inherent in life. In other words, we are designed, we are hardwired to live together in peace and cooperation, in connection, across species. But it also happens to show up in people too, which is good for us. Most of you know I'm a bit of a football fan, and there's a wee bit of football on this weekend. We will not be lingering after service. There's several games on today. It's playoff season. But I was listening to a little interview with New England Patriot Devin McCourty. He and his brother play for the Patriots, and they're in Atlanta for the playoffs. And Atlanta is the, the home, so to speak, of most of the Martin Luther King memorials, because this is Martin Luther King weekend. And they wanted to go, some of the guys on the team, they wanted to go on their day off to see some of the sites, some of those historical places. And he was talking about how, Martin Luther King was a man who knew that he was part of something bigger than he was. And he said the guys on the team, the men on the team, they too want to be part of something bigger. He said, and when we actively reach out into the communities where we are from, so they work with the kids, or they do a mentorship program, or they run a training camp, he said, now these kids look up to us, and their life is better now. That's the kind of impact we all want to make. That's why we're here, he said. And he said, that's what I want for my kids in the world. To make their way and to make the world a better place. To make an impact, to make a difference, to be the best that they can be. This is who we are. This is our true nature. This is life flowing through us, unobstructed by negative opinions and doomsday predictions and antagonistic encounters. When we clear away the noise, it is our heart that lives in us as us. And when we bring that to the world, then we are part of this something bigger. When we reach out in friendship, then we're making a connection that says, I see you as someone worthy of time and love and attention. And it is good and very good. And isn't it fun? We can have fun with this. Martin Luther King said that every human life is a reflection of divinity, and that there is within human nature an amazing potential for goodness. Now, honestly, there are many people who do not reach their full potential for goodness, yes? But I don't want to be one of them. I want to be someone who keeps that vision of life in front of me, who pictures peace and it shows up because love makes that happen. He said those words in the face of the civil rights struggle, in the midst of intense racism and violence and upheaval and chaos, and yet his vision was clear. He said he never doubted his faith, he just sometimes doubted his own strength to carry on. And we do that, don't we? We doubt our own ability to do what there is to do, or to speak up, or to make the first overture, or to be the one who does the hard thing, or to just sign up to volunteer somewhere. We're not sure we can really do it. And I'm here to tell you that you can. I'm here to tell you that everything within you that you need to be that force of peace and love and light in the world is already there. David Garrow is the author of a book called Bearing the Cross, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Now, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was the organization that backed the civil rights movement, and they sort of volunteered Dr. King to be their leader, to be the face of the movement to the public. It wasn't something that he chose. And what Mr. Garrow wrote was, I think it's crucial for people to realize, especially younger people, that the civil rights movement was not somehow commanded by Dr. King. King very much understood that he was a symbolic leader, not a commander. And again, the lesson that the black freedom struggle in the South in the 60s should give us is that local people, like in Montgomery, like in Birmingham, local people can take the initiative successfully for themselves. They don't have to wait for a great man, a great person to come along and lead or instruct them. Dr. King himself said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. You don't have to have a college education to serve. You don't even have to make your subjects and verbs agree to serve. That's a relief, right? You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. We don't need special education or special titles to lead a movement based in love. It is what we already are. Our acts of service and kindness and compassion and friendship don't have to be large or elaborate or complicated. It's really just the simple desire to be present, to be a presence of giving and support, to be a listening presence that makes an impact on others. We just need to open our hearts and be the vehicle for that to happen. And this is what we know how to do. This is what Science of Mind teaches. We are the channel for spiritual energy to show up. We are spirit in form in this world. And the divinity within us, however clouded or obscured it may be, is still the truth of our being. And when we do our spiritual practice, when we meditate, when we take some time for prayer, when we do some contemplative reading, when we choose to focus on that bigger picture, on that greater thing that is happening, then we become a clear channel. Then we become that person that you want to stand next to, and you don't even know why. Because they're bright, or they're funny, or their energy is just like a magnet. Love magnetizes. Love magnetizes. And the thing is, we all have our gifts. We all have our gifts. Anybody grow up being told or telling people that they weren't creative? Yeah. Is it true? It's not true. We're all creative. We all have gifts. The thing is that our gifts are part of who we are. It is our friendship, our smile, our sense of humor. You know, our gift is our patience that we take with people. It's the joy and the peace or the forgiveness that we offer. It's the self-care that we do, the boundaries that we set to create a safe space for us so that we might be a safe space for others. We all have gifts. And we don't just apply them to family or to best friends. It's really a way of life. John O'Donohue says our love for friends and family, and also our concern for the world and the earth, our compassion for the pain and desperation of others are not simply the product of an unselfish gene that some of us have. They issue from that strain of God in us, that divine spark that we talk about, that place of the heart. One of our CSL ministers, Raymond Anderson, he also teaches American Sign Language online, teaches classes in it. And he is quite articulate, quite funny. There aren't too many Zoom classes that you go to where your teacher's wearing a Superman shirt with the Marvel Comics people on the wall behind him in his study. I love Raymond. He's wonderful. And he talks about this idea that, we have these people or characters that we think are superheroes, right? They have special powers. But that special power is that smile. It is that sense of humor. It is that hand that you outreach. It is every time you call up a friend and say, hey, how are you? You doing okay? Haven't heard from you for a while. That love is all the power that we need. And we already have it. And if you don't feel it in a given moment, then it's time to take a step back and remind yourself that within your own heart, there's love. Nobody can touch that. You're breathing, therefore you're loving. And that love heals. And our attention and intention will bring that to the surface in everything we do, as long as we take time to remember the greater truth, the bigger picture, the overarching path that we are on, which Ernest Holmes called the ever upward spiral of evolution. Holmes says that if we listen to the heartbeat of another, we will hear the great rhythm of the universe resounding in us, and through our friends, the infinite speaks the divine language. Through our friends, the infinite speaks the divine language. So this is the rhythm and the perfect timing of life. This is the flow that we are meant to be a part of. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a friend. For being a friend to me, to each other, to this community, for being a friend in the world and of the world. For that is truly what heals us all and will bring a smile to everyone's face. Namaste. And I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer. Here in this moment, with a smile on my lips, I can feel the love that is within. And this is the essence of life. This is spirit within me. And if it is in me, it is in each and every person here. There is no place where God is not. There is an energy of life that is the truth of us, each of us, forever expressing and expanding and transforming. And so I speak a word for each of us as we move out into the world, that we do so shining our light, choosing to speak authentically, acting on the desire to reach out and help someone, to step back and take care of ourselves, to move through the world as a place of compassion and light and humor and joy, and bring peace to all that we do, all that we are, to every interaction. To be that vehicle for spirit to show up in the world in a greater way. To be a friend to ourselves, to our community, to the world. To allow friendship into our lives, that we might be nourished and sustained and reminded that this is the truth of all of us. And I speak a word for clarity and wisdom and curiosity, that we might look at another whom we do not know and see the same. That in fact we do know each other. That we do share life. That there is love here. That right where we are, Spirit works. And in this knowing, I find great peace, and I feel an overwhelming gratitude. For from this place, life is but a blessing. In all its crazy forms, there is good and more good within and without. And it is this good that I choose to see, that I choose to live from, that I feel in my very bones. It is the words of kindness and peace and justice and joy that fall from my mouth, that work through my hands, that direct my feet in the direction of service, of kindness, compassion. All of that I am meant to be. So in this gratitude, I release my word into the law. For I know that in the mind of God it is already done. We are already expressions of the one. We cannot be anything else. And I call that good and very good. For I know that it is all God. And so it is. So, please, we have an affirmation. You'll find it in your bulletin. For those of you watching online, I'll say a line and invite you to repeat it after me. I am the joy of life expressing and receiving in perfect rhythm. And so it is. Thank you all. So as our musicians make their way up, I want to remind you that your contributions are welcome. We say thank you to each other for keeping this community strong. The baskets are in the back of the room, if you will, on your way out. Those of you online, you may donate online through PayPal, or you can also mail a check. Or you can also, do you all know that we have automatic payments through PayPal, that you can make a monthly donation automatically. You set it up once, and it's there for you. Any way you'd like to give, and it doesn't have to be financial. Some of you volunteer here all the time. That's part of what makes Sunday morning possible. How many of you come here a little early or stay a little late to build this Sunday morning experience? There you go. There you go. So that's who we are. So your donation, your contribution of your time, your talents, your treasure, all work together to keep this community healthy and vibrant. So thank you. And we have a prosperity affirmation. If you'd like to say it along with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Let's welcome the Jacksons back.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to be here. That was so wonderful. We've been waiting all week to hear you.
Thank you. It's very uplifting.
If you ever have to miss
Thank
one,
you.
We've been listening to her online, and it's just wonderful. Thank you.
Won't hear me talking about no bad news, and I just can't sing those low-down blues, 'cause I ain't crying no river of tears, and I ain't hiding from no more fears. If I'm crying, well, it's tears of joy. The Spirit lives in every girl and boy, and I'm as happy as I can be. I'm living life in harmony. Address this life to the Spirit in me. See God's love in every leaf on a tree. I feel connection with humanity, because we all are one and our hearts are free. I see the Spirit when I look at you. I feel compelled to live my life in truth. I'm overcome with forgiveness and grace, and I'm surrounded by the love in this place. Press this life to the Spirit in me. See God's love in every leaf on a tree. I feel connected with humanity, because we all are one and our hearts are free. we all are one and our hearts are free. Because we all are one and our hearts are free. Our hearts are free.
Thank you.
You know, we never talk about how this stuff coordinates, but I swear there were a couple things you sang that were like phrases right out of my own talk. You know, they get the same little blurb you do that say, hey, here's the title, come see us on Sunday. And that's what happens. Thank you so much, so much. All right, we do have some invitations, and before we start on the general ones, I want to invite up our board president, Jan, and our board member, Chris, for a little special presentation. Come on up, ladies. No, that's correct. Okay, so we'll fix the announcements that are in the bulletin too, but that's okay. Come on, ladies. Do your thing and I'll fix this part. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. And as all of you know, we had a rain experience here. But we had some volunteers step forward, and we want to just express our gratitude to them very specially. Now, not everybody is here, but we're going to say their names. Okay? Yeah. So first we'd like to have Ed come forward, who really helped us out, helped diagnose what was going on. And so we want to say just thank you from the board and from the church, and gratitude and expressing that love you were talking about. So thank you. Now, the second person is Bobby. But and maybe you have seen Bobby Nah. Is that how Noah. And because he takes care of so many things around the church and the physical plan. You need anything, you ask Bobby. So he's not here, but we're going to clap for him anyway. Yes.
I know where he lives, so.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next person is Shelley, who usually is right up the front, right there. And Shelley and her husband Patrick were up on the roof and sweeping down leaves and all kind of stuff that came pouring through the roof. So, and the ceiling. So we want to thank them. They're not here either, but we are thanking them. And we can't go away and not thank Reverend Mary, who helped us with the insurance and trying to negotiate what gets paid, what doesn't get paid, and how it gets paid, and when it gets paid, all those business kinds of things. So thank you very much.
So in case you didn't know, the summary of all that is water poured in through the library ceiling. Damaged the ceiling, the floor, created smelly things in the office. We had air filters blowing and fans blowing to dry it out. There will be some repair work that needs to be done. It's that flat roof problem that some of you may know from your own homes, and a poorly designed drainage system that for some reason doesn't spit out the acorns that fall into it. So that part's been fixed. We didn't have any more damage this last bit of rain that we had, but we have a little bit of a road of repair ahead of us, so we'll keep you posted. And thank you to the people who were here sweeping and tarping and digging and drilling holes in drain pipes and bailing water and thank you all so much for just taking care of our community. So once again, thank you, everybody. All right, as my very organized board members pointed out to me, the invitation in your program for the annual meeting says January. That is wrong. It is February. However, the 20th is correct. All right, so February 20th, not the 27th as previously announced. some of our board couldn't be here on that day. That makes for a very incomplete annual meeting. So we'll all be here on February 20th after service. If you are a member, you'll be voting for new board members. We'll give you the State of the Union. We'll answer any questions you have. We'll talk about our finances and, kind of go through our list of accomplishments. We've had a couple of strange years, but there are a couple things to celebrate, and we want to do that. And we are going to invite your conversation and your questions and your ideas for our community going forward. So that's what our annual meeting is. It will be in February. There will be posted announcements. You'll get a little postcard in the mail, all kinds of reminders, because we really want you here. If you're not a voting member, that's fine. You are more than welcome to attend. You are still part of this community, and we do want to hear from you. So plan on that. Save the date. Our holiday toy drive, we all brought in unwrapped new toys to support the Children's Foundation of America, which is a Claremont-based organization that supports foster youth. So everything from infants to teens in the foster system. We wanted to make sure that they had a holiday. Now, we're just one of many organizations that contribute to this cause that do the holiday work. They do all kinds of things throughout the year, but Christmas is a big one, as you can imagine. And over 2,000 children were served. And that is in part because of our generous donations. So thank you all for your contributions. Yeah. All right, remember we have an opportunity if you've got that extra TV that you don't need anymore, or the one that you took away from your teenager for poor performance that you'd like to give to another home. Or maybe you just bought them a new one. It was for a happy occasion. We would love to have it. We do hybrid classes, meaning where we can, we meet in person, but we also open it up to folks online to make it possible for more people to attend. And it's helpful for us in the classroom if we can see everybody at once. So something larger than a laptop, please feel free to donate. We would love to have it. Anything else from anyone else that I might be missing? Ideas, comments, questions? We already did birthdays for January? Okay, we're good then. All right. Well, thank you all for a lovely morning. I'm so glad to see all of you. We're going to stand up. We're going to move to the outside. We're going to keep our distance a little bit, but you're going to give each other dance moves to Eddie Watkins Jr. Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color. And when shall we unite? In honor of the God in each other, we come together, 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 in the name of love. We come together, 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 in the name of love.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.